right, all right. Hi, hi. Hey, guys. All right, Taurians, let's go ahead and take a little peek. We are going to take a look at the person who is thinking of Taurus, whomever they may be, kind of their perspective. And it's kind of inspired by the bookshelf behind me, in the Akashic Records, which is the concept that there's this cosmic library where everything we can do, have done, will do, has already essentially been recorded somewhere in the cosmos. Like all timelines already exist, right? And so if we want to change a timeline, we can simply choose a different, book out of the cosmic library, and that's, the change in our life. So with that in mind, I just wanted to put a different spin on it and take a look at kind of like this person's Akashic record. Like, who are they? What are they thinking about? So the person who's thinking about Taurus, we have a King of Wands, and we have them as a Four of Swords as well. So they may be somebody that has a lot of love, but they may be ill or spending time resting right now. They may be recovering from something. I even think sitting here, it's like maybe they hurt, got a whatever. I'm picturing somebody with like a hip surgery actually, or knee surgery or something. And it's like, oh man, still really stings, still really hurts. But, I'm spending a lot of time, whatever, icing and resting and having to keep weight off of it. They could be somebody though that has an emotional wound. Doesn't mean they have to be a Leo, Sag, or Aries necessarily, but they certainly could be. And then we have this Page of Pentacles. I would say for a king to be kind of withdrawn and contemplative and thinking about things, or like I said, resting, healing, and then to go to that Page of Pentacles, I think that they are dreaming of what they'll do once they're like back on their feet. Oh, is that Michael Bolton? When I'm back on my feet again, I'll walk proud down that street again, and they'll all look at me again because I've learned to be strong. I think, right? Yeah, that has to be Bolton. Page of Wands. Okay, so a lot of page energy, a lot of like the thoughts of what they'll do once they can get back on their feet. So let me shift gears just a little bit and say, because this is like they want to travel, they want to do things, they want to say things, they want to get back to planning their life. At no point are they less than a king. It's just that it feels like they have some inhibitions. Can I just ask, what are the things blocking you or the inhibitions that are here? We've got the Temperance in the reverse. That might be hard for them to explain because this has to do with like, I just don't have balance. I don't know why I keep thinking of somebody with a foot, hip, leg, ankle thing. And it's like, I don't have like literal balance, like maybe it's like, well, I'm not super mobile right now with that Sag energy of the Temperance. And Temperance is normally that undulating figure 8. It's the flow of the universe, the balance of the universe, the infinity symbol. But they don't have balance right now. And we have the Tower. Everything here, I keep thinking now somebody has to get their cast off, like busting free so then they can move around properly again. All I can say is it feels like this character has a very good perspective. So even if they're going through something like a healing process, a physical healing process, it's like, yeah, but they're totally going to rebound. It's going to be great. They're going to do really well. They know this. They're excited. They know things are going to get better. It's not any concern about that. It's more like they're sitting around and they're thinking about things, think about what they'd like to do. Is this somebody who like wants to go ask Taurus out once they can, move around again? Or is this somebody who wants to ask Taurus out, once their life is like more expansive again? It could even be something as simple as, it's late where I am right now. I can't call Taurus tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to call me some Taurus up. It could just be like that. Like, no way, there's way too late to call now. I can't do that. I have to wait till tomorrow. But then, all bets are off. I can call as soon as, it's a reasonable time tomorrow. Hi, Bella B. Good to see you, babe. Oh, that's awesome. Your South Node's Taurus. I love that. I love the North and South Node. That's really more enticing to me, really, than our sun signs. And I do really care more about moon sign, which I'm actually a moon Taurus. But I like moon, North Node, and South Node the best. We have the Four of Cups upright. Okay, so they do have a regret. This is somebody who regrets either not already being able to connect to Taurus. Let me just change decks for a second and let's ask more directly about Taurus. What is it that you think about when it comes to Taurus. We see who you are and we saw some of your background, but what do you think about with Taurus? 10 of Wands. There is a heaviness here. There is something that they either need to clear out, or they need to take some pressure off, or they need to, 8 of Cups. When they think about Taurus, there's a burden. That burden has to do with either things were left weird between themselves and Taurus. There's our Taurus with the Hierophant. Hanged Man in the reverse, some Pisces, High Priestess upright. Okay, I think that there was, we'll say, an unspoken like awareness. Like when they think of Taurus, they are bothered by the fact that things were left murky. It became clear that there's no point in them, trying to progress with Taurus, or let's put it this way, Taurus felt like, I'm catching your drift here, that it's time for me to go. Now, when they think of Taurus, this is a very heavy and like unpleasant thing for them. And maybe this is as simple as 3 or 4 days ago. Let's use the analogy of somebody who actually has like a leg injury or something. Let's say they wanted to go out with Taurus. It was all planned. And then the day arrives and it's, they're meeting up and Taurus is like, I kind of feel like you're in a lot of pain. Are you sure you should be out moving around right about now? I kind of think maybe this isn't the best time. And they're like, yeah, it's true. It's not the best time. And it's like, they didn't really want to say that, but Taurus picked up on the vibe and I think just exited, stage left. Not everything has to be this huge drama. This doesn't have to be like, oh my God, this was a love story. And then, they hurt Taurus. I mean, it could be that big where they weren't ready to like really invest properly. And this was a relationship that really should have shifted toward like full-on marriage, and they were only given half their energy, or they weren't ready to be married yet. It could be something that huge, but it could also be something, like I said, that was just a little bit of weird awkwardness where it's like, okay, I don't think that you're really down for this date tonight. Why don't we just call it off? I think it'd be better if I go. And even if they didn't say it, I almost feel like that's what they were wishing would happen. Not because they didn't want to spend time with Taurus, but because they were not ready. Hi, Andrea. So nice to see you, babe. We have got the 5 of Wands upright. Look, everybody's been chewing on this. They know that they didn't exactly explain to Taurus what was going on. Maybe they didn't want to explain that they were in a lot of pain, or maybe they didn't tell Taurus what the real situation was. So let me ask this. What do you want with Taurus right now? I mean, you're thinking about Taurus because I asked, the title of this is, who is the person who's thinking of Taurus? And we see them thinking about what they want to do when they can after they do some continued healing. And we see them real bummed out. So I'm guessing it's like, God, I wish that things hadn't happened the way they had. But let me ask more specifically, what do you want with Taurus? 5 of Pentacles. But this is a very different 5 of Pentacles. We have the Serpent, which is all about transformation and truth. And this is Year of the Snake. And this is all these unhatched eggs. I feel like this is the story that never got off the ground. I feel like this person wanted so much to have something with Taurus, and it didn't even begin. Nothing started. And it was probably because of the way things were in their life at that moment. Oh, 9 of Swords sideways. They're very stressed out. 5 is also a number of change. So that 5 of Pentacles can represent like, I never even got a chance to do anything with Taurus. I never got a chance to actually go out on that date. I didn't get a chance to ask him out. I didn't get a chance to try to even work on things with Taurus. They're very torn between, like, I think mostly because of their regrets, very torn about like, I'm super stressed whenever I think of Taurus, but I also almost impulsively just want to like run to Taurus, or maybe impulsively run away. Which is it? They're so churned up over Taurus. They're so like, I don't see any comfort here whatsoever. Prince of Pentacles in the reverse. They almost want to just jump timelines. What does that mean? Libra energy. I feel like we always get some Libra in that, with that Justice card coming out. We used to always get Virgo that came out a lot in Taurus videos also. But right now we have Libra that seems to make a pretty common appearance. Hi, Awakened Virgo. Hi, sweetie. Um, this to me looks very much like they're still kind of all over the place. They wish that there could be like a timeline jump and then somehow magically everything could be set right. I don't know why are you so stressed? And what is it that you feel like you either did wrong or how did you handle things differently than what you wish you had? Six of Swords. That still is like trying to move into calmer waters. Seven of Cups in the reverse, Three of Wands upright. You know what I really think this is? For maybe a myriad of reasons, maybe physical ailment, maybe personal, just like emotional distress that they weren't done healing with. But I feel like this is a story of somebody who met Taurus before they were ready. They wanted a chance with Taurus and instead they botched it so freaking bad because they were nowhere close to ready. The same way it would be if, somebody asks us out for a date, we go over to like meet up with them and they're like 3 days unwashed and their house is a mess and their car is broken and they're going through a ton of crap. And it's like, okay, this is not a good time for us to be trying to go out on this date, is it? And it's like, I'm just going to gently exit stage left. And it just feels as if this is them more or less saying, I really did Taurus wrong. That's not how I wanted it to be. And I wish I could just somehow do a timeline jump and erase it all. Andrea, you sweetheart. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. You were so incredibly generous. Thank you for that incredible donation. Thank you guys. They wish that they really hadn't ruined this thing. Like, if only I could have a second shot just a little ways further in the future. Even the way this storyline started out, they were King of Wands, warm-hearted, but then we saw them still healing with the Four of Swords, and when we saw them as several pages. They are still not even ready yet, not at this point in time in this story. But they definitely think heavily about Taurus all this while. They think about and they're stressed over it too. They think about the stress that they may have caused Taurus. They think about, I just want to reach out. And then it's like, no, I just wish I could just, like melt into a little puddle. And I wish Taurus didn't even remember that they'd met me. So then I could have like if life was like a movie where, it's like a sci-fi film where you get the Groundhog Day where you can go back to before the two of you interacted and you could change the way the whole thing went so that Taurus would have a better opinion of them. Because this is like, if only I had met Taurus somewhere up ahead instead of the fact that I'd already met Taurus. They want a little Back to the Future kind of thing. If only that's the way this could be erased and undone. Now, here's the thing. I kind of think that they're freaking out instead of saying they already know Taurus is like super spiritual, super awakened, super like energetically present with them and is picking up on vibes from them. So I almost feel like if anybody could understand that they clearly were not ready, and Taurus has probably already intuited an awful lot of what was going on with them. I mean, Taurus is the person who would have the capacity to like read the room, right? I mean, a high priestess can read the room. So let me just check and say, how does Taurus think about this person, if at all? Queen of Cups. Taurus does like ruminate on them a bit, not in a negative way. Taurus seems to like, I'm picturing literally sits and savors. I picture Taurus as somebody who like drinks the way you drink a good wine. It's like you kind of swirl it around. I do that with coffee, or in this case, like a turmeric tea. But I like the flavor, especially of coffee, and I really like that turmeric tea. So I always swirl it around. Now, I don't like wine. I have no palate for it at all. But coffee, I am like a crazed connoisseur for coffee. And so it's so funny how we all have our thing. But I do like, and it's so cheesy, and it's so like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I even like to swirl my coffee so I get the real odors. Like, I'm nuts about it. I'm the way wine people are about wine, but I'm all just about coffee. So, but I'm picturing this Taurus has a capacity, like maybe even with their emotions, to like really swirl stuff around and think about it and ruminate on it, maybe while they're simultaneously sipping something nice. This all feels very good. And it feels like, if anything, Taurus gets the most out of their thought process and the emotions that they've experienced and the emotions that they've shared with others. Basically, Taurus is very present in their life. And when they think about that person, is not with angry thoughts. It's like, I still swirl them around in my, cosmic energy, and I think about them. Sometimes I'm even a little sad over it with the Four of Swords. I might think about them specifically if I have to travel a lot, ride the bus, ride the transit, in and out of airports, on the metro. Yeah, there's moments where I wish I could just call them up and talk to them even. Five of Pentacles. It's more like Taurus worries if they're okay. It's more as if Taurus goes, I would have helped pull them up if they were having a lot of problems. That's probably why Taurus is not like angry at them. They're just like, I worry about them sometimes. And yeah, I do miss them, but I would have been somebody that would have lifted them or, elevated them a bit. RT, Denisa, so good to see you guys. I like the fact that Taurus is not Six of Pentacles sideways. Taurus is not slamming any doors shut, but I also think maybe it's better that Taurus is not in their lives right now, because Taurus would try to like lift them, fix them, heal stuff. And maybe this isn't Taurus's duty to do any of this. Maybe they really have to finish their healing process alone. It's just that Taurus seems to be so compassionate, so understanding. And it's like, oh, we've all been there, but it's kind of a bummer because I think about them. And at some point, if they show back up in my world, you know what? We could go gold panning together. It'd be better. It almost feels like Taurus's opinion is, if we had already been closer or more able to be more open and vulnerable, or already in a deeper relationship, then when they were going through something, I would have been their rock, and vice versa. But we didn't already have that established. This was too new, and they came in with a problem. And it's like, my problem has to be fixed by me. I can't bring it to Taurus's doorstep. And I think Taurus is like, it's kind of a bummer. But you know what? If I do see them again later, if they do pop up later, I could see that happening, and I would be all right with that. I actually think it's to their credit that they didn't want to dump their dirty laundry on Taurus's doorstep. And it's also to their credit that they think heavily about Taurus, and they really wish that somewhere up ahead in the future, they could maybe have another shot with Taurus. I would say they can definitely have another shot with Taurus. And the fact that it's still on their mind, I would say it's only a matter of time before they try that. But they have to finish up their healing first on whatever it is that they have to heal from. I kind of actually really appreciated this character. You guys, thank you so much for being here. So good to see you. Andrea H., thank you again. Angel, you're so generous. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. Denise said, I didn't get to see anybody until this evening anyway. I was busy working outside, and I think that's why I'm cold now, because I was so sweaty and it was so much at work earlier, and now I'm like, I'm freezing. Bellamy, thank you again, babe. Always great to hang with you. And Awaken Virgo, RT, thank you. Thank you, Andrea. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you again soon.